our next guest from a variety of quality television shows like The Good Place, Killing Eve, and Barry. Her new movie is Cruella.
Stella, it's been so long. You know, I kept staring at you at the party, and then it came to me. That's Estella from school.
It's not Estella. That's the past. I'm Cruella.
Cruella is in theaters and on Disney Plus Premiere Access a week from Friday. Please welcome Kirby Howell-Baptiste. Thank you. I don't know why there are two chairs there.
I didn't know either.
There are the chairs just to block you from coming around the corner and to confuse.
Well, to be fair, someone told me exactly what to do backstage.
Yeah, but you know how that goes. As soon as you hear the music, it immediately leaves your head, right?
100%.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm really good.
It's very good to see you. Well, you know, we used to have a movie premiere in this neighborhood every week, pretty much. Yeah. Sometimes two of them a week. This is the first one you're having your premiere at the El Capitan Theater tonight. Yeah. The first one in more than a year. It's really amazing. I mean, it's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Have you seen the movie? I'm sure you haven't seen it in a theater with a bunch of people, but have you seen it, the whole movie?
I have seen the whole movie, but I didn't see it like the way you should see it. I saw it on a tiny little laptop with watermarks all over it.
I see. Yeah, and you want to see the whole thing.
I want to see it for real.
I haven't seen it yet, but I hear it's great. I hear it's a great movie.
I'm excited about it.
I bet you are. Yeah.
It's also like the return of cinema. You know, like people are starting to feel comfortable going back out and things like that. So it's cool to be part of that.
Absolutely, I can imagine. Oh, by the way, I heard about this, and I was talking earlier about how people have lost the ability to drive over this pandemic because people haven't been driving much and they kind of get rusty or whatever.
Yeah.
And you have a driving story. You have a visual aid that I'll hold off on, but I would love to hear the story.
Yes.
From you.
Okay, well, I can relate because I'm from London, so I didn't have to drive, you know, like for most of my life. Anyway, when I moved out here, a little while after being here, I was like, I should take a road trip. I've never done that before. It feels like quintessentially American and Californian. So a friend and I went up the coast. She went to Santa Rosa, and then I decided to come back on my own. So I traveled from Santa Rosa, and I spent a couple nights in Big Sur, and then I was like, oh, I've never been to Hearst Castle. I should stop at Hearst Castle on the way back into California.
This is this tourist location.
Yeah.
It's this big, beautiful castle.
It's amazing. I had a friend who visited a few years ago, and she went, and I was like, it's kind of shameful that I've never been. It's not that shameful. You don't have to go there. But anyway, it's not a big deal. It's not like not voting.
Well, people say it's really cool to see.
Yeah, exactly. It's really cool to see. It's really opulent. There's zebras everywhere, apparently. So I wanted to see it in real life. So I'm driving, and when I leave the place I'm staying in Big Sur, there's like two ways you can go, like a beautiful scenic route along Highway 1, or you can take the freeway. And I was like, no way, I'm going the beautiful way. So I drive, and I leave the lodge that I'm staying at with about a quarter tank of gas. Oh no, indeed. So I leave with a quarter tank, and I'm driving along Highway 1, and it's so beautiful, and it's like, you know that big scene in Big Little Lies? You're like, it's beautiful, it's real.
Yeah, it's
driving
right along the ocean.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, there's a rock slide, and they're diverting traffic through the forest. So I was like, okay, fine. I mean, I hope I find somewhere to fill up, but okay. So I go through the forest, and it almost immediately lose reception, so I have no cell service. My car is like running low, and I should have filled it up. That's my bad. But I keep going, obviously, because I'm using Google Maps. I want people to know it was Google Maps, because you'll know that they did me very wrong in this moment. So I'm like driving along, and then all of a sudden I'm off-road. And let me just say, I'm not in like an off-road car. I'm in a 2001 Toyota Solara. With a quarter tank of gas, off-road, driving through the forest, and then all of a sudden I'm on army land, and then there's like literally signs that say don't get out of your car because there are possible explosives. I'm going like 5 miles an hour, go through that, go through private property onto a farm. Meanwhile, my GPS is still like, you're doing good, girl. Like, it's telling me that this is the way that I'm meant to be going. So obviously I'm like, okay, if you say so. So I keep going. And then I'm like, okay, my petrol goes down. It's like the light comes on and I think, okay, I know what to do here. Every time you go downhill, pop it into neutral because then you can just coast and you'll get there.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that every time and I'm like terrified. And then my GPS tells me that I'm like 0.5 miles away from Hearst Castle. So it's like, you made it, you did it. As I'm going, I go like kind of up a bit of a hill and then it's really, there's loads of forest and I come through the clearing and I'm faced with a creek, is what I call it. Everyone else is like, no, that was a small lake, but it was a creek that was probably almost the size of this studio floor. And in my mind, I see tire tracks on the other side, so I'm like, it can't be that deep. You can make it in your 2001 Toyota Solara. And I guess I don't know how cars work, you know? so I drive through, and I'm 3/4 of the way through, and I'm like, you did it. Oh, it was worth it. You'll probably break down, but it's fine because you'll be at the castle. You can get towed from there. And as I'm going through, 3/4 of the way, almost at the other side, I hear this click, and my car is dead in the water. And you know in films, like, when cars die, there's smoke and there's all this fanfare. It was so anticlimactic. It just died. It wouldn't start back up again. And I'm in the middle of this creek, and water starts flooding into my car. I grab all of my things, way to the other side. This is the first time in the entire journey that I actually have reception. So I call the emergency services and they're like, where are you? And I'm thinking, you tell me, you know? Like, this is it. I was located by helicopter. This is real. That's my car.
So how'd you get out of there?
That's my first ever car.
You look, well, yeah, I mean, you look pretty happy, all things considered.
You know, I think my mind was running, like, you know, I think I was just, I had so much adrenaline. How did I get out? I got located by helicopter because I was not on a real road. And then I had a tow truck come pick me up, tow that sad little car out of the water.
Oh.
And the tow truck driver was so lovely. So we drove up the backside of Hearst Castle and it was stunning. It was like, it's a service road. You're not meant to be on it. And the guy was like, it's kind of a good thing you didn't get there because you would have been arrested. But my GPS was trying to take me to Hearst Castle like I lived there,
yeah,
right? It was trying to take me to the front door of Hearst Castle, and that's not where you go when you go to Hearst Castle. Anyway, he was so lovely. And then him and his wife, he was like, my wife would kill me if I didn't offer you a place to stay, so you can stay with us. And so I stayed with him and his wife. And
you went home with the tow truck driver?
I went home with the tow truck driver.
Good idea.
I met his lovely wife first at this Christmas fair, so it was legit, you know. Then she took me to a winter solstice party, and that's not even the craziest part. The craziest part is I was at this party. It's been such a long day. It's been kind of traumatic, and I'm like, phew, time to get high. So then I'm like smoking, and I literally, for the first time in my life, cannot get high. And what I assumed was happening with my biology was my brain went, that's enough for today. You know?
Everything broke. Well, that's quite a story.
There's nowhere else we can go.
Don't ever do that again.
Never.
Yes, you know.
Never. You have no idea. I have never had a tank of petrol that has not been full since. Never. Always full. In fact, I just switched to electric, and I think that's why.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Well, it's great to thank you for telling us that story.
Thanks for letting me tell you.
The movie is called, I know you have to go over to your thing. It's
yes.
Cruella. It opens in theaters and on Disney Plus Premier Access a week from Friday. Kirby Howell-Baptiste, the tow truck driver's friend, everybody. We'll be back with Royal Blood. Hi, I'm Jimmy Kimmel. I hope you enjoyed that video. Hit subscribe and all your dreams will come true, assuming your dreams are to watch more YouTube videos.